Hello and welcome to the KIngfisher Winning Post. As always, it's a pleasure to be your host on India's #1 horse racing show. There's plenty on tap today. Let's get started with a look at our top 3-year-olds.
The General Rajendra Singh Ji Trophy has been a fixture on the Pune racecourse for many a year. This year Piaggio has stepped in to sponsor what is definitely one of the most important lead-up races to the Nanoli Stud Pune Derby. 4 colts and 2 fillies faced the starter then, with Maddox, Star of Gibraltar and Marauder carrying the winner's penalty at 57 kilos. Swift Memories was the bottom weight at 51.5. Horse number 1, Maddox from Kuji Katrak's yard, had P. Kamlesh astride, and this horse had top credentials to win this race, having already won his lead-up in a most convincing fashion. Horse number 2, Marauder from S.S. Shah's yard, trains for Dr. Ramaswamy in the absence of Kartik Ganpati. Very well-bred horse from a stout staying dam in Aroma, but little late maturing. This horse, in spite of winning his last start, might find the step up in class a bit too much for his liking today. Horse number 3, Star of Gibraltar from Dallas Toriwala's yard, already had a victory under his belt this season, and B. Prakash kept the ride. Lake Paradise from the stables of Vinayak is the property of Mr. Rakesh Kumar Wadhwan and is ridden by champion jockey from Bangalore, Suraj Naridu. Horse number 5, Saratoga Spring, an eye-catching 5th in the Bangalore Summer Derby, trained by Satish Naridu. DK Ashish gets the ride. A whole lot of hope and expectation rests on this horse's shoulders. Horse number 6, Swift Memories, again from Dallas Toriwala's yard, had the informed jockey Dashrath Singh astride. This filly had already picked up a race earlier this season, and she looked that she might be able to take the weight handicap to her advantage and make them all chase her. At race time, the well-bred daughter of Razine, Lake Paradise, was the piping hot favourite at 10-9 on, with Saratoga Spring and Maddox also gathering a little bit of support.
Well, and while the horses are on their way to the starting gate, let's go back into time. Take a look at our Kingfisher Trailblazer. This one is the Punchil Million, another top quality juvenile sprint.
The Punchil Million, which has now become a landmark feature of the Pune racing season, saw 11 runners face the starter. Film actress Twinkle Khanna made her presence felt at the Pune track when she arrived to present the Punchil Million trophy. Although she and her husband Akshay Kumar have regularly attended racing in Mumbai, this was her debut at the Pune track. She spoke exclusively to the Winning Post to tell us all about it.
This is my first visit to the Pune racecourse as a grown-up. I've been coming here when I was a little girl. So I think it was really exciting to see all the people and see everybody dressed up and see the fast race, and it's been a good experience. I think people are making a lot of effort to sort of really dress up and get into the spirit, and I think it's lovely. I saw one race and I thought it was pretty exciting because the horse won by like a great margin, and I like watching races, so it was fun.
Eventually in the race, Pablo Neruda, Pronto Star, Snowblaze and Josephine were the market fancies, and we pick up commentary from the bend.
And as they begin to negotiate the bend, passing the 600 meter marker, Snowblaze comes in home first, a length in front of Josephine in second position. Mystic Dawn towards the inside rails. Suryaveer is upon the outside. A length further back there is Pronto Star making headway. On the rails there is Sonio, then there's Good as Gold, Pablo Neruda and King Arthur at the straighten up. A little over 350 to go. Snowblaze has stolen a march. He's about 2.5-3 lengths in front of Josephine, is under the stick. Another length and a half further back there, Suryaveer. Then comes Pronto Star and Sonio looking for an opening with about 200 meters more to run. Then Snowblaze has gone away. He's about 4-5 lengths clear of Suryaveer. Then there is Sonio and Pronto Star.
The grey Snowblaze is by China Visit out of Snow Tiger from the Usha Stud Farm. China Visit himself is by Red Ransom, who in turn goes back all the way to the champion sire of sires, Roberto. With Razine and Steinbeck both featuring very prominently in the damn Snow Tiger's pedigree, Snowblaze is an out-and-out Usha champion.
Well, and Snowblaze surprising everyone there. Tremendous performance there. Dallas Toriwala stable also doing very well. On that note, we'll take a short break. We'll come back. There's plenty more on the KIngfisher Winning Post. Stay tuned.
flying high, you and me, flying high, you and me.
Kingfisher Airlines, now connecting the US to India through Dubai, Hong Kong, Bangkok, London and Singapore.
Welcome back to the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. Now it's time for us to leave India, head over to Singapore, where we caught up with the leading professional, Julie Burridge, who told us what it takes to feed a champion.
Feeding horses is a very individual thing. There's lots of different feeds out there for people to choose from. Everybody has their own quirk, their own routine, and their own reason for feeding different things. So I'm just going to discuss a few things today and talk about the horse's digestive system. Horses have been around 50 million years, and their digestive system is very apt at digesting what they eat. Now out on the open plains, they live in the open, they don't live in caves or anything. They feel comfortable in the open because they're prey animals, so they can see their prey. They eat very low quality roughage. They're fibre eaters, they're fibre lovers, they can digest fibre very, very well, and that's what they're made to do. So we bring them into a stable environment where they're away from their natural habitat, and we also ask them to work very hard. In horse racing, we ask them to work very hard and do a lot of mileage, and therefore if we just fed them fibre, which is what they're very apt at digesting, we won't be able to get enough calories into them. So we do actually have to implement some extra feed to cover the extra calories. Now, horses have an insatiable need to chew. They need to chew between 30 and 50 times an hour, which is 60,000 times a day. And sadly, in captivity or in a stable, they just can't get that amount in. But we do our best. We do our best with the hay. But the reason why they chew this much is they're walking, they're picking, walking, picking, walking, picking, socialising, walking, picking, walking, picking. And in their saliva, when they chew the food, the saliva goes down. Their stomach is very, very acidic environment, and it's always dribbling acid. It's a constant flow of acid. So by the fact of chewing and swallowing, they have bicarbonate in their saliva that goes down and it buffers the acid in the stomach. So if they don't eat for a while, like as a human, we have 3 meals a day, if they were fed like that, they get stomach ulcers. That's the main cause of the stomach ulcers, is fasting in between meals and horses not getting enough fibre through the system. They don't like a big meal, they have a small stomach and they like a small meal. Unfortunately, we have to feed them with grains, which is very high in energy, very starch and very full of carbohydrate. And they can digest that in this area here. That's why we have the stomach can digest these through enzymes. The energy is taken from the cereal grains. Now, unfortunately, because we feed them quite large feeds, sometimes some of these grains pass through to the hindgut. Now, the hindgut of a horse is very apt at digesting fibre. They're fibre fermenters. This hindgut, which is called a cecum, they have a thing called a cecum. It's a huge fermentation vat full of bacteria, absolutely billions of bacteria. And it's at a beautiful pH, it's at a very nice acidity. When the fibre comes through, the fibre is fermented and broken down, and they get the energy from that, what they need for their bodily functions and for everything else. It's perfect. Because we need to add more, sadly sometimes we have to be very careful not to overload their front gut, and so sometimes it slips through to the hindgut. Now, when you get these cereal grains going through to the hindgut, something terrible happens. It's very, very uncomfortable for the horse. The food, the carbohydrates, the cereals, they ferment. They change the acidity of this huge, beautiful fermentation vat. The bacteria then can't cope the pH change, it drops. They can't cope to live. This beautiful bacteria, the flora that's in there, they die. A lot of them die. They get absorbed into the body of the horse, into the bloodstream of the horse via the stomach wall, the cecum wall, and goes around the body. And sadly, sometimes horses get what's called laminitis. because as these bacteria die, they produce endotoxins. The endotoxins get absorbed, they go through the body and end up in the feet. Now the horse doesn't have a good circulation of the feet. When the endotoxin ends up in the blood down there, it causes thrombosis of the feet, which is breaking of the laminae. The laminae breaks and it causes laminitis. So we have to be really careful to keep the uptake of fibre really high and add our grains as well, but not add a big meal, not too big meals. I mean, the point is, little and often is what exactly a horse needs of fibre. So you same rule for your carbos. You need little and often. So feed companies have designed feeds to help us. The science is really brilliant now on horse feeds, and fat. Vegetable oil or fat that come from vegetables is a really good way of subsidising your horse's calorific intake. Now if the fat seeps through to the hindgut, it doesn't seem to do any damage, so this is a really good way to feed your horse so it digests in the front gut of the horse. Really good energy synthesis from this. Also the feed companies provide us with micronized feeds, which is, so they've been steamed, rolled or micronized or extruded, and that means that it can be digested very well in the front gut. We don't want it to go to the hind gut. That's just for your fibre. We like to feed a lot of fibre. We feed fibre 24 hours a day. The horse can just munch away as much as it wants. We also feed lucerne pellets, which is another source of chewing and giving the horse something to masticate on. Speedy beet's another form of fibre. They love fibre, so, and this is the hay also. Now horses, because they're in captivity, they do get behavioural issues. Because they're in the stable and they can't always chew and walk and chew and walk, they do tend to walk the box a lot. You see a walk in the box, it's just they're distracted. They don't often get much interaction with other animals, other horses. So they also feel a need for socialising. So sometimes they weave, sometimes they chew things, sometimes they eat the bedding, they chew things because they need to have this saliva going down to buffer the acid in their gut, in their stomach. So I try to hang the things here to create a bit of interest so they don't get bored. Try to give them as much hay as I can. And I try to think about giving them plenty of fat in the diet, which is a very safe way of giving energy. And I try to use micronized feeds and plenty of really fresh hay that comes from Canada. It's very good to the hay, speedy beet and things like that. So we do try to think about the horse's mind as well as its body. It's physiological, we try and look after its physiological side as well as its psychological side. And because they're hot-wired to eat fibre, they just love fibre, and that's basically horses have developed a very good system for that exact purpose. So just to recap on what horses need, the worst thing you can do to a horse is feed it a lot of feed and not work the horse. Horses walk up to 80 kilometres a night in search of food in the wild. So the worst thing you can do to your horse is overfeed and under-exercise. They get bored very quickly, they're very curious animals. So just to recap, little and often feed and as much hay and fibre as you can, because that keeps everything in sync in the horse's body. And if you need extra energy, fat is a very good way, and extruded feeds and micronized feeds are very good. Tidbits are not always the best thing to give your horse.
And we will continue to bring you lots more from Kingfisher International. We'll take a short break here on the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. We'll come back and find out who won the Rajendra Singh. Stay tuned.
Flying high, you and me. Flying high, you and me.
Kingfisher Airlines, now connecting the US to India through Dubai, Hong Kong, Bangkok, London and Singapore.
Welcome back to the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. When we left you, the horses were on their way to the start for the General Rajendra Singh. Well, they're there now. Let's take a look and see how this one worked out.
They are off and racing for the Piaggio General Rajendra Singh Ji Million to a level start by all the six. And as they settle down to race, Marauder hits the front, half length in front of Maddox in the middle. Or on the outside, making a forward move there is Star of Gibraltar. A length and a half away, Swift Memories towards the inside rails. On the outside, there's Lake Paradise, and a close last. A length away is Saratoga Springs. Star of Gibraltar on the outside, Swift Memories on the inside, little separating these two. They're heading the field, a length and a quarter further back. There's Maddox on the outside. Towards the fence, there's Marauder. A length away is Lake Paradise along with Saratoga Spring on the inside as they come towards the 1400 meter marker. Swift Memories is about a length in front of Star of Gibraltar in second position. A length away is Marauder on the fence. On the outside, half a length away is Maddox. Very close behind them is Saratoga Spring, second last. Last of all now is Lake Paradise, just about a neck behind. And as they gallop towards the 1000 meter marker, Swift Memories still calling the shots, a length and a quarter in front of Star of Gibraltar in second position. Maddox on the outside, close on the fence, Marauder. Not far behind comes Lake Paradise along with Saratoga Spring as they come past the 800. With about 600 meters left for the Piaggio Rajendra Singh Ji Million, it's Swift Memories the leader, half a length in front of Star of Gibraltar. Getting closer there on the outside is Maddox, a length and a quarter further back. There's Lake Paradise on the outside, taking the turn slightly wide. On the rails, Marauder. Between them is Saratoga Spring as they straighten up. A little over 300 to go, and it's Maddox on the outside who puts his nose in front, stretching out nicely. He's a length and a half, 2 lengths in front of Swift Memories, struggling to keep pace. Then there is Star of Gibraltar making progress. On the outside there is Saratoga Spring with about 150 meters more to run. Then Maddox is traveling extremely well. Maddox under the stick though is about 3 lengths clear of Star of Gibraltar. Maddox wins the Piaggio Rajendra Singh Ji Million in great style from Star of Gibraltar, finishing up second.
Maddox from Kuji Katrak's yard takes away the top honours in the Piaggio General Rajendra Singh Ji Million. Owned by Palon S. Mistry representing the Manjari Horse Breeders Farm, this is a horse who you can expect big things from. P. Kamlesh was visibly happy while receiving his trophy and Kuji Katrak was all smiles. Palon Mistry seems to be a very lucky young owner and we caught up with him later on in the show.
Well, a tremendous performance there from Maddox, and I can tell you the Manjari stud is having an incredible year. Pronto winning the Kingfisher Derby, and now Maddox coming and stamping his credentials for the Nanoli stud Pune Derby. Well, at the forefront is Shapur Mistry, of course, but with him is his young son Palon. Hirko Lifestyles is next.
Palon Mistry, the young scion to the Shapurji Palonji Empire, owns the champion 3-year-old of the year who goes by the name Pronto. This is the first horse that was picked by Palon Mistry, who spoke exclusively to the winning post and gave his first interview after winning the richest horse race ever run on Indian soil.
We were lost for words, everyone was excited, thrilled, and it was a great moment. We just had a really good time. We were all in Greece at that time, so we were really excited about the result. Amit and Dilip is like family to us, so he was excited, thrilled about the race, and he was talking to us on the phone after, and everyone is really excited. Yeah, I guess it's a bit of luck as well. You need a lot of luck in the sport, and yeah, of course, I hope many more derbies to come soon.
Palon qualifies as a proverbial chip of the old block, and his father Shapur Mistry must have put some serious thought into who would be the first horse to run in his son's name. Palon though took a keen and active interest in racing himself and picked Pronto from the Manjari stud farm.
I think I chose my first horses, so yeah, so I hope I get more results soon. Pronto first, I think he's got the biggest heart and all credit should go to him first. And also Srinath and Imtiaz both have done a great job. Imtiaz has done excellent with him, couldn't have done any better, and I hope for more good to come from the horse.
Pronto has amassed a small fortune during his highly successful 3-year-old campaign, having earned well over 2 crore rupees for his young owner. But the ultimate prize and target will still be the McDowell's signature Indian Derby.
Of course, that's what we've all been thinking of after he crossed the line. He'll definitely go for the guineas and then we'll follow after that.
And Srinath, you're obviously the right person to tell us, do you think Pronto is going to give you, Palon, both of you, their first Indian derby.
Yes, this is the first time for everything, and I hope Pronto does it for us.
And tremendous passion from the Mystery family. I can tell you that's exactly what horse racing needs. Well, next up, let's take a look ahead at next week's races. Morning Glories and Tipping Tim is up next. With the rain coming down hard over the weekend on the Pune track, only a few made their way out to go through their paces. Dervis Hill was the only one who went a serious bit of work on Saturday the 27th of August, coming home over 4 furlongs in 55 seconds. The son of Glory of Dancer is a smart 3-year-old from Dallas Toddywalla's stable, and he won his first 2 career starts before finishing in the mid-bunch when stepped up to graded company. He is worth another look when stepped back down to handicaps. On Sunday, the very next day, despite no respite from the weather gods, a few more shone out in the morning. Running Sun with Kamble on top was level with Royal Crest, clocking a minute and 11 seconds for the 5 furlong trip, winding up the gallop in 43 seconds for the last 600 meters. An impressive winner last time out, Running Sun is worth following again. Lake Superior worked alone and worked over 4 furlongs in 55 seconds. The son of Ontario is looking for his first victory since his debut win. He will likely be targeted to the SA Poonawalla Million in a week. Star Zone with Kamlesh on board worked better than Mountain Prince, working the 4 furlongs in 55 seconds, while the best work of the morning was Elizabeth from Pacey Shrop's Yard, coming home over the 4 furlongs in 54 seconds, winding down the clock in 41 seconds for the last 3 furlongs. Elizabeth has entered this weekend and will not go down without a fight. The Southern Command Trophy on Sunday the 4th of September is a championship race over a mile during the Pune season each year. This Grade 2 contest has a number of impressive entries, including Pacey Shrop's Onassis from the same family as Picasso.
I have Onassis in the Southern Command. Next week I think he'll put up a good show. He's always been a good terms horse, and I think he'll run well. Well, he's only had 1 race in the Turf Club Cup, and I think he's come on from there. He'll run well in the mile.
Onassis is best when held up, and he will need to time his run to perfection. Narendra Lagat is having the season of his life, and with 2 entries he holds a strong hand. Native Knight is talented and versatile, while Mighty Crusader is a specialist endurance sprinter.
I may have 2 runners in the Southern Command. One is Native Knight and the second is Mighty Crusader. I think both should run a good race. In a mile he should be a slightly better horse, but I think Native Knight has more class.
Star Future from Kuchi Kathrak's Yard has plenty of ability and is likely to relish this trip as well. The horse in form that wasn't too far behind Star Future in the Indian 2000 Guineas this year is Suchalio, and is best ignored at your own risk. Imtiaz State's runner belligerent is tackling this contest en route to stud duties, and often the racing gods have allowed for a swan song.
I hope to run a filly mare called Belligerent. Not very likely. You see, what happened was she won 3 races in Bombay, and she's gone up in the scale. And Bangalore, I don't think she liked the track and the underfoot conditions. She's come here and must give it another try, because she's on the way for breeding. So 1 or 2 last few races of her career. Let's hope so.
Tipping Tim's analysis for the Southern Command is that while it will be an open contest with ground playing a role in the final result, Star Future has the form to win this one. He holds Mighty Crusader and Onassis from their previous run, as he does Suchalio from Mumbai. Another horse to follow on the weekend is Dear Henry, who is entered in the Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw Memorial Trophy. Well, and that's all we have on this episode of the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. We wish you all the luck going ahead. Till I see you in a week's time, thank you for joining me, and as always, may the horse be with you. Goodbye.
Fly Kingfisher Winning Post is powered by the Serum Institute of India and Hirko Industries.